Homeownership is a dream that becomes a reality for 2 out of 3 Americans. But today, many people are facing the unforeseen threat of foreclosure that can turn the dream into a nightmare. Some lose their homes as a result of unscrupulous lenders and fraudulent business practices. But the truth is, most foreclosures are due to personal, life-altering situations. Facing your situation head-on before foreclosure becomes a reality can lead to effective solutions for most borrowers. Let's take a look at some of the possibilities.
I know every situation is different, but now I feel so foolish for not seeing this coming. I've been in the corporate fast lane for 12 years. I love my job, I get a raise every year, and that end-of-year bonus is always welcome. I thought there's no reason not to have a nice car and a condo in a trendy neighborhood. I thought I could keep up with it all by making the minimum monthly payment. But when my condo fees doubled, I looked at my balance, I saw how far I was in debt, and I couldn't see any way out. At first, I was really embarrassed, which is probably why I didn't do anything for a few months, till finally real panic set in. I knew I had to make a major lifestyle adjustment, but I found out that declaring bankruptcy could come back to haunt me in the future. Finally, I called the Foreclosure Prevention Hotline, which I'd seen online. I made an appointment with one of their housing counselors, and she explained that I still had a few options before they foreclosed on my condo. Luckily, I called when I did. After working with her and making a plan that gets my finances under control, I had to move, and I'm living in a place that's comfortable and much more affordable. And I'm certainly sleeping better.
I know I'm different from most guys my age. I'm very self-reliant. Like, I hate asking people for help, and I really hate owing people money. I didn't buy a car until I could pay for it, and I waited to get a house until I can afford what I wanted. I had this really good job in computers until 8 months ago when I got downsized. That was really bad news. At first I wasn't too worried, because like I said, I don't owe a lot of money, and I had a fair amount of savings. But weeks turned into months, and I never thought it would take this long to find another job in my field. And I still haven't. Now I'm really getting worried. I am working in sales in one of those giant computer warehouse stores. It's not nearly enough money. And worse than that, it makes interviewing for a better paying position in my line of work almost impossible. My biggest worry is my little house. I put so much work into it, making it just the way that I like it. I'd really hate to lose it now. But last week I bit the bullet and called the Foreclosure Prevention Hotline. Like I said, asking for help is hard for me, but I did it. This guy at the hotline explained my options, and since I'm working, he helped me work out a repayment plan with the mortgage company so that I can get current on my payments. And the best news is, I won't have to sell the house.
One of the things you learn when you live as long as I have is that life is full of surprises. You think it's going along just fine, and then wham, something comes around the corner. When you're my age, you don't bounce back so fast. When Richard, my husband, passed away unexpectedly 6 years ago, I honestly thought I'd be right behind him. But when that didn't happen, I realized I'd have to make some decisions myself. I was lucky. The housing market being what it was then, I got a low adjustable rate mortgage, and I thought everything was fine. But like I said, trouble was just around the corner. Before I knew it, my interest rate changed, and my monthly payments nearly doubled. I was so embarrassed. Finally, I confessed to an old friend who actually laughed. She was in exactly the same fix. And she said that I should call the Foreclosure Prevention Hotline and get an appointment right away, and so I did. They worked with me and my mortgage company to help me get a payment I can afford. And one more thing, it may not matter to everybody, but for someone like me on a fixed income, the fact that the hotline is free, that was a big plus.
I had no idea. I never imagined it could get this bad.
It's all my fault. I should have known.
At the time, it seemed like the best thing, packing up and moving out. We just had no idea that there was a whole process that had to take place before you get foreclosed on and evicted.
Your mother wasn't too happy to see us with all our stuff when we showed up on her doorstep that night.
Explaining it all to her was the worst thing. She just didn't understand what was happening.
We were so far behind on our mortgage payments, ignoring it seemed like the best idea.
I didn't know what to say to those people who kept calling, talking about foreclosures and making all kinds of threats. I just stopped answering the phone.
And then I panicked. The worst part of it is none of this had to happen. If only I'd called that foreclosure prevention hotline when I had the chance.
They could have called our mortgage company and made some kind of arrangement.
But we didn't. And now we're paying for it.
It's so humiliating.
Our credit is ruined. Our savings are gone.
And I didn't realize that we could still owe the bank money for a house we're not even living in. If only we'd known what our options were.
But we didn't.
If only we'd called that hotline.
If only.
The message is clear. Take action. Pick up the phone and get the help you need. If you think you have a problem, don't wait. Call the Colorado Foreclosure Prevention Hotline. They have the know-how and the solutions that can provide an alternative to foreclosure, and it's completely free and confidential.
That was a big plus.
And I'm certainly sleeping better.
And the best news is, I won't have to sell the house.
Help is out there. Make the call.